everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and I just want to give you guys a quick little house rambly update. It might not be quick if I get going. You guys know I've been really good at rambling lately, so I had done a two-part house thoughts video, basically telling you guys we really don't want to rent much longer. We have a 1-year lease, and when that's up, we really want to have a house. We just want something to call our own. I was just filming my pregnancy update, so I wanted to go ahead and film this one while I was at it. I really had good experiences at both design centers when we got an appointment to go see them. I just really liked the organization. I liked the straightforwardness. I'll talk about one of the builders specifically being super duper honest and straightforward, but I felt like this was just completely night and day different from our first building experience, where we felt like we were being taken advantage of. We weren't getting straight answers until after we signed a contract, and then every single thing was an upgrade. I did not feel like that at all with these two builders. I felt like, I've used the word straightforward like 5 times, but I feel like they were really straightforward with everything. I would be in there talking to the lady and being like, well, I really like this granite and this whatever else it was, like silestone or something else. And she goes, well, this level might be smaller, but the silestone is more expensive because XYZ. And she would just up front tell me that one's going to be more expensive. She didn't have the pricing because the pricing depends on what floor plan you're using. So it really goes by every floor plan. You know, they've got like specific measurements, how many linear feet or square feet of blah blah is going to be used, and they price it out like that according to the floor plan. So I wasn't surprised she couldn't tell me an exact number because I don't have an exact floor plan, but she would tell me, you know, straight up, oh, this tile is a decorative tile, this tile is considered a wall tile, this one's more expensive. And she could tell me those things. I feel like that gave me a really good sense of how much this is going to cost us. And with one of the builders, I can see their pricing online. They have an online design program where you pick whatever granite you want, you pick whatever tile you want, and it prices it out according to your floor plan. I have picked a floor plan with that builder. If we were to build with that builder, that would be the floor plan we'd pick, so I can see the pricing. Like, I know exactly, almost to the dollar, how much that house will cost us to build. And it's just amazing, incredible. We have not done any sort of contracts at this point. We're not under any obligations whatsoever, but it was great to be able to get the actual pricing. And so I still have to pick out a floor plan and email the other lady back and get the information on the pricing for the second builder house. That's actually the builder I had talked about in my previous video. So let's back up a minute. In my previous video, I said I had talked with one builder. They said, absolutely, you can go see the design center, and once you pick a floor plan, we will price out all the options. Just write down what levels you like of things. Every upgrade is done in levels. So if you like a level 3 granite, it's going to be more expensive than a level 1 granite, for instance. So she said, write down what levels you like, and we can price it out once you pick a floor plan. And I was like, great, that's awesome. We have gone to the design center, picked out our levels, got pictures and things, and I have to email her once I pick out the final floor plan. So it's all dependent on me right now picking out the floor plan, and she'll price everything out for me. And then I also went to the second builder and I said, can I go to your design center and can I have pricing? And she's like, absolutely, here is your login for our design program. And at that point I had already picked a floor plan that I really liked with them. So I said, I really like this floor plan. She inserted it into the program so I could see the exact pricing with that floor plan for every option that I wanted, pretty much. With the exception of a couple of things that aren't in the program, I know the price of everything because I can see all the granite choices in that program and pick the one and it shows me the price of it. I can pick it for a bathroom and it shows me the price of putting it in a bathroom, that kind of thing. So I know the price of the house in the second place. I went to their design center and they were straightforward with things too. They're like, okay, well, this is going to be more expensive because of blah. They did that at the other design center for builder number 1 that I previously talked about as well. So it was just so vastly different, our experiences. You know, they were like not trying to rush us. We just had this time that we could go in, we could look at everything, they could answer our questions, and I felt really comfortable with both. Now, they're both in different neighborhoods, so it's a different vibe. If you're in a big city, like, your neighborhood really matters. Like, those are the people you're going to spend time with. Those are the people who you're going to be friends with. You're not going to be driving all over town, all over the place to like have ladies' nights for the most part. Like, you plan your ladies' nights with your Facebook group in your neighborhood. So that's really what it comes down to. Like, play dates are going to be with the neighborhood people. So I've been researching that more and more. I know a couple of people in one neighborhood and I don't know anybody in the other neighborhood. Different neighborhoods have different amenities. Like the neighborhood we're in now has a couple of different pools. It's got some really cool nature things and parks and that kind of thing. So you have to look at all the things, not just the house, not just the price of the house. So we're kind of comparing the two neighborhoods. They're also a little bit different on the map, so it would change Johnny's commute just ever so slightly depending on which neighborhood we pick. And so we're just talking about it. We're just, I have to pick a floor plan to get the information on the pricing from the other one. So I want to talk about the straightforwardness. So builder number 2, the one I can go on their online program and see everything, see all the prices. I have gone back and forth with the sales lady so many times asking certain questions about things, and she has always given me a quick response, and she's always answered everything really sufficiently. She's never given me a runaround. She's always just really upfront with things. And one of the questions I asked was, what are your incentives? And they don't really have any. Like, they're that good of a builder. They don't have to offer incentives. So that was kind of disheartening. And I had tried to negotiate with her a little bit. She was really straightforward. Like, we don't negotiate. We don't have incentives. Our prices are really comparable to what you're going to find with another builder who has incentives on top. So basically, like, they don't play games, which is something I really appreciate. She's basically, what price you see is what you get. We're not going to negotiate, but their prices are also lower. So like, to upgrade all of the cabinets in the entire house to white cabinets was under $2,000, which is like, it would have cost $2,000 at another builder to just get the kitchen cabinets to be white. I don't know how much it was when we went to build the first house, but it was prohibitively expensive to get white cabinets the first time around. It was thousands of dollars to just get white cabinets in the kitchen itself. The fact that their white cabinets are just a $2,000 upgrade is really important. Maybe they don't offer $40,000 in design studio credits, but their stuff's also not going to cost an extra $40,000 tacked on. And I felt like that with both of these builders. I think the other one is going to play a little bit of games because they do offer quite high incentives, but every single thing is not going to be an upgrade. Where I felt like when we built the house that burned down, every single thing was an upgrade. It was an upgrade to change the orientation of a tile in every single room you wanted to change it. So if you want a diagonal tile on the shower, it would cost you extra. If you want a diagonal tile on the floor, it would cost you extra. If you want a diagonal tile on the backsplash, that would also cost you extra. So you're looking at upgrades for every single little thing. Also, you guys know we picked out that really beautiful, expensive wood look tile in that other house. They were really long planks. It cost extra to just get them staggered. They were gonna put them like in a grid side by side if we didn't pay an extra charge. And so it's like, come on, like every single thing was an upgrade with them. We felt really, taken advantage of, like, wow, we really have no idea what we're doing. We did not realize at that point how much they took advantage of us. And now I have 2 other points of reference where they're like, I asked straight up, I was like, okay, how do you lay your wood look tile standard? And they're like, staggered. They looked at me like I had 3 heads because it's like, duh, it's a wood look tile. Of course it's gonna be effing staggered. So I was just kind of blown away with both of their level of responses and also practicality, and also not trying to upgrade every single little teeny tiny thing. We totally busted through our budget with the first home build because we didn't know what we were doing, because we thought all the stuff was normal. Looking at it now, I just see so many things. Like I said in the last video, like even in the very beginning when I'm like, hey, can I see your pricing? They're like, absolutely. And that's totally different from my first experience. So pretty much with both builders, I have looked at everything that I could possibly look at except like the wiring stuff. There's going to be a separate appointment to do. They call some of it low voltage wiring, some of it high voltage wiring. It's things like adding extra outlets, adding extra lighting, the security system, if you want a central vac, if you want surround sound, all that stuff is done at separate appointments, which it really depends on what you want, what you're gonna get. So that's the unknown as far as the pricing from both of these builders. And also paint colors is not something that they had available. I didn't see any of the standard paint colors, but I got a feel for it because of the different various kitchen and bathroom setups they had. So I could see what colors they had on the walls, and I'm sure I'm gonna be able to find a color that I like, so I'm not too concerned about that. In our last build, we did pick a standard gray, so it was no big deal. But yeah, going into this, I don't know, my thoughts have changed about it. Where in my last video, I was like, I really just hate the idea of it. It's churning my stomach. I was really nervous before going into these appointments, how it was gonna be. And after going to those appointments, it's like, we could totally build with either one of these. Yeah, it's gonna suck. Yeah, it's gonna suck to wait. And there's gonna be problems, they're gonna mess up things, and something's gonna go wrong, I'm sure, but I just had so much more confidence in them and the whole system, the whole way they do things, that I'm like, wow, I don't know, I get a better feeling from them, whereas even in the beginning I was uneasy. I felt kind of taken advantage of before we even signed anything, and I just thought at that point it was like new home building jitters, whereas this time I'm like, first of all, we've gone through the building all the way to almost the completion of the house, so I know kind of what to expect as far as that goes. We've done the design center thing before, so we know how the setup goes. So we also have that confidence, like we kind of know what we're doing. We've kind of already built a house before. We just never got to live in it. We never got to go past like the 30 days until it was completed thing. I feel confident in that. I feel like we're kind of experienced in this now that we've done the whole other thing. I don't feel excited because I see the price tag, so I'm not excited about that. I feel excited that they're viable options at this point, and we're not committing to anything at this point. I'm very pregnant. I just filmed my 29-week pregnancy update and I'm almost 30 weeks pregnant, so we're not doing anything right now. I am very hormonal, and I catch myself like looking dreamily at the floor plan that I picked out for the builder number 2 and really liking it, and catching myself doing the dreamy thing, like, oh, it would be so dreamy to have white cabinets and this color granite, and I catch myself doing it and I was like, back up. Like, this is just a house. It's not life or death. It's not a dream. It's not a dream home. It's a house. And so I'm trying to look at it more of the practical side, but I'm also hormonal, and I'm not gonna lie, that definitely probably plays into that, like, oh, dream home thing that I'm doing, So I've really had to keep my emotional side of this in check and look straight at the numbers. And when you're looking straight at the numbers, the number actually wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. I really thought it was going to be way, way worse. I was really thinking pricing these 2 houses out is going to kind of eliminate the building thing. Like, we're going to pursue this, price them both out, and it's going to eliminate it just due to pricing. But actually it's like the same price. We might end up spending more on an older house. I kind of want to do it. At this point, I'm really leaning more towards one builder than the other, just because I liked some of their options a little bit better. I still haven't finalized a floor plan or picked pricing from one of the builders, so I still need to do that, and then I can really, compare apples to apples the best that I can. And we're still going back and forth between pros and cons of each builder, so that's something, like, if we're gonna build, we have to kind of pick one and kind of narrow it down and make up our minds completely about things. But yeah, it's definitely a viable option at this point, and I'm trying not to get wrapped up in the, like, oh, shiny and pretty and fancy. I priced out with the one builder, I priced out every single thing I wanted. The exact elevation, the exact countertops, the exact cabinets, every single thing in the house. I even got more wood look tile picked out in this house versus the house we were building, because it was very expensive to pick out the wood look tile, especially the other way where you had to pay for it to also be staggered. So we didn't get wood look tile everywhere we wanted it in the last house, whereas this house we would. With all that and it still being the budget we expected it to be is huge. So I'm really hopeful that the other builder will have very similar pricing. At least if they're more expensive, their pricing will be offset because they do offer an incentive, and maybe they're open to negotiations. I don't know. Sometimes they are and sometimes they aren't. It really just depends on the builder and like the day of the week that you go and talk to them. I'm hopeful in some way. I do want that redemption. I also want to pick out everything, I have an idea for what I want in the house, and if it's going to be someplace we're going to raise our family and be in for hopefully a long time, I would really like to make the best possible choice. And when we're comparing a 30-year-old potential money pit house that doesn't have the things that would need renovations to get anywhere close to what I'm dreaming of, and then I can go and just have it be built, it's really tempting to just go have it be built, especially when we're looking at the same kind of price point for both. One option, I get pretty much the ideal, pretty much close as I can possibly get to exactly what I want, versus I feel like is a big settle, and also kind of risky because you just never know what's going to break down in an older house, and the likelihood of things breaking down is huge. And I was talking with Johnny about this. He was like, Sam, if we live in this house for 30 years, we're gonna have to, replace all the crap anyway. So what's the difference? And I was like, the difference is in 30 years, this house will be paid off, the one we built and the one we lived in for 30 years. And we're just signing up for a brand new mortgage in the house that's already 30 years old. And we're just like waiting for things to fall apart. So I think he really understood like my hesitation for that. Just the older the houses are, the more stuff they're gonna need, the bigger the expenses are gonna be. And I priced out windows one of the nights. I was like, how much does it cost to replace windows? Because this house really needs them. Like, bugs come in the cracks on the windows and we can't seal them because we're renting, It's not our place to do maintenance. This house really needs all the windows to be replaced or fixed or reframed or something, because air's coming in and out of the windows, and it costs a lot of money to replace even just one window. So I was like, I was sitting there on the computer, it says windows cost approximately $300 to $700. That's if they're standard size, which we found out our oven was not standard size when the oven broke down in this house, but that's if they're standard. They're around $300 to $700. We're in a big city. We're on a kind of expensive side of the city, so I can expect it to be on the higher end of that. And I looked around, I counted 10 windows from right exactly where I was sitting. So you're not talking about a super cheap thing that has to be done to houses over time. That just put me in a state of overwhelm, thinking of getting the older house that needed a little more TLC. And that's not to say we might not end up in an old house. We may very well end up in an old house. There's one actually in this neighborhood I really, really like. And if the price is right, it might be one we pursue. But at the same time, it needs every renovation known to man. Like, it still has really, really old wallpaper. It looks like it was the original house and nothing was done to it in 30 years. So when you're looking at that, like the two houses, the build house or this 30-year-old house that needs everything done, they probably haven't replaced anything except what absolutely had to be replaced. They're the same price. They're within $6,000 of each other as far as the house price. So yeah, like, why wouldn't I pick the brand new one over that one? Like, it just, to me, it's like, duh, you pick the brand new one because it's the same price and you're gonna be left with exactly what you want versus having to renovate and completely gut a house, basically. And again, Johnny's not into the renovating type of thing too, so that really makes the answer clear when you're comparing those kind of houses. You know, I'm looking at the price being, okay, we'll pay $6,000 more for this house, and overall, you know, over the years of the span, it's gonna be more than $6,000. I get that, but you would dump $6,000 in just changing the laminate countertops to granite. That's not even gutting the whole kitchen. Like, it has appliances from 30 years ago and it has what looks like original carpet. So like the $6,000 means nothing at that point. Like, you're just going to be dumping tons and tons of money into that house to even get it in the same century as it's way back, way back. So that's just one of those things. Like, yeah, that house had really beautiful bones and I liked the floor plan of it and it was big and grand and had, you know, certain things that I really like we we were building the 2-story grand house and it has some of those features. It also is all brick, which I really like. I like brick houses. That's something that's going for it, but it also has a couple of problems, and one of them being it needs to be majorly updated because the carpet's scary and the kitchen's a little scary, but it has good, what I call good bone structure. Like, the floor plan's really nice and it could definitely be a gorgeous, gorgeous house one day. I just don't think we're the right family to do it. But yeah, it's one of those things, like comparing that being like the best house I found thus far to a brand new house that has everything I want. It's really easy to see why I want to build. So I just wanted to fill you guys in. I still have to pick the floor plan. We're gonna price out with the other company. I still gotta pick the floor plan to do that. And then we'll really get into the nitty gritty of like, are we really gonna go to build? But it's looking like a viable option. I'm totally game for it at this point because I can see the value in it. I can see getting the stuff that I want and getting the new house that doesn't need a whole lot of work. And I see the value in finally like being able to call something home here where we haven't had that yet. So I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked how different the design center appointments were and how quickly my mind shifted. Like, oh, building would be the worst thing ever. They're all sleazy. They're all out to get all the money from us. And they've been nothing but like really straightforward and really honest. And they're like, well, this thing costs more, so just keep that in mind. And they're like trying not to get my hopes up. Where I feel like the other company, if I was looking at two things, they'd be like, oh, this one is so much nicer, and it would be the way more expensive option. They wouldn't say that at the time, but they would talk me into it, and then I'd find out it was super duper expensive. So I feel like it's totally different. Like, they're like, wait a minute, that one's way more expensive, just keep that in mind. And they're like really trying to keep honest lines of communication, which I like. They weren't trying to upsell things like, you know, I know you like this sink, but this sink is so much better, and like trying to really upsell me, where I felt like at the other place we did get a little bit more of that upselling things. I don't know, I just got really good vibes from both of them. I know they're salespeople. I know that it's going to be expensive, but I felt like they were as honest and straightforward as humanly possible. So I really appreciated that. And also, both of the builders that we've looked at, we've researched, all builders have negative things about them, but they've both won awards for customer satisfaction and quality and all that kind of stuff. So they're both like well-known companies, and we went with a Texas local smaller company last time, and it really showed. And I really thought at the time, like, yeah, it's great, we're staying local, we're using a local company, a smaller company, I like to support smaller businesses, blah blah blah. It was the wrong choice. Like, you want a national, well-known, established builder with awards and recognitions, and it makes a difference. Like, they have standards, and it makes a difference when they have these standards. So I just think we made a huge mistake last time, and hindsight's definitely 2020 in this instance. So I feel much better about this time around if we do choose to build. My last thing I want to mention, I actually used my iPad to keep track of everything in the design centers. So I have like all the things. I snapped photos in real time while I was there. I like put out the things that I liked, snap photos, write my notes in with my iPad, and it was awesome to be able to have it all there. Way better than how we did it the first time, where I would snap photos and then forget like what the colors were called for granites, tiles, and backsplashes. I got so confused the first time. I almost didn't even know what we got, like thinking back months and months later. So it was really nice to have everything organized. I could snap the photo, stick it in my GoodNotes program, and I do have a planner video coming up for you guys where I'll show more in depth like how I used it, but it's really, really great to just, you know, have it all laid out, have my notes, have my pictures, and it was really invaluable to have my iPad. So it was another iPad win. Any kind of PDF document or information I've gotten, I've stuck it straight into my GoodNotes app, which is my digital planner app that I've been using, and it's been really great to have it right there, and I can have all the building stuff together. So if we move forward with one of the builders, I'll have all the information there. I can keep track of things week to week, snap photos and keep them in here, and be able to take notes if I need to ask them about something, and I can be way more organized with it than I was the first time. And that will be really invaluable also going into it, just being a little more organized, knowing more of what to expect. I felt like going into the design center, they're like, you know, explaining to me how design centers work and the levels and things. I was like, I feel like I'm not a rookie this time. So that was also helpful. But anyway, that's it. I rambled a long time. I hope you guys like this. I will keep you guys up to date with the actual decision making if we come to a decision. I keep coming back to, I'm a little hormonal. I don't want to make life-altering decisions this close to having a baby. But then I also think I'm going to be way, way crazy off the rails for the first couple months of baby's life. And it's also going to be juggling a newborn. You can't exactly leave a newborn for actual appointments and things to plan out a house. So I don't know if we're gonna actually do anything the next, what I have like 10 weeks to go right now. So I don't know if anything's gonna happen in the next 10 weeks. So if it doesn't happen in those next 10 weeks or so, we'll have a newborn for the first couple of months, and we won't be doing anything then either, because I'll be a little bit hormonal, and we'll also be, you know, sleep deprived, and it's not the best time to make really big decisions. So we'll probably wait another 2 to 3 months at that point in time. So we're looking at like being 5 months out from even making a decision on this, unless we do it like in the next month or two. I don't know if that's any better than doing it in the sleep deprived newborn stage or not. But yeah, we're just talking about this hardcore right now. We're about a year out from Olivia starting kindergarten, and where we end up will depend on what elementary school she goes to. That's one of those things that's kind of on the back of my mind, like, you know, if we're gonna build, we need to kind of make a decision in the next few months at least, because it usually takes a while, and they're both quoting about 8 to 10 months at this point. So I think it'll probably be closer to that year mark, and we have about a year. So it'd be good to, if we're gonna build, try to make that decision, I guess, in the next 10 weeks, and really, you know, really talk about it, really be objective about it. And I'm really trying to not use my emotions for this. Like, I'm really, when we're like analyzing things, I'm looking purely at the numbers right now, and so far the numbers are pretty even, like whether we go and build or whether we buy one of these more established houses. So I just have a feeling that it's going to be cheaper to build based on that, and also easier because we don't have to worry about renovations. We don't have to worry about so much breaking down, hopefully. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.